Cavalier taught Vere a lesson. Mobe keep pace on the top of the table, and it was racing in the battle of the new boys. But we start one place and one place only, and that's on the Anthony Spalding complex, where it was Arnett joined First Blood. This is Match Week 9 review show. Yes people, welcome back to Jamaican Fun, and welcome back to another review show, and we have a full 7 games to get through. So let's start quickly. We're going to go to, of course, West Kingston Derby, where Arnett was playing home to Tivoli Guns. So straight to the lineups for this one. So Arnett coming like a broken record at this point. It was once again without Fabian Reid in the lineup, but there was also a vote of confidence for Ricardo White as he kept his place in goal. And the front three is now becoming familiar with Shea Smith, Harbour and Warner Brown. On the orange side of things, Shaquille Jones got a first start of the season, as well as a return to the starting lineup for Justin Dunn. When the game kicked off, Tivoli started the brighter. They got a big chance to get the opening goal thanks to a set piece where the ball fell kindly to them in the 6-yard box, but Watson just couldn't get that shot on target. So the Junglers did settle after that, and they started to play their usual pretty football, especially going forward, and eventually led to the first goal. A neat ball was played down to the right hand side for Harbour, who placed one of the crashes of the season on a dime in the 6-yard box and find Warner Brown, who neatly tapped it home to give Arnett the lead. From there, Arnett was trying to control possession, but credit to Tivoli, they came out of the shell a bit more and would start to get more on the ball, which meant that we were finding the feet of Fuller more. And when he had the ball here on the left hand side, it seemed that the Arnett Guns defenders were aware of his danger and were watching him too closely, as he was able to just give Justin Dunn the ball, who had acres of time to place another scrumptious cross into the box in behind and fire streaky Nelson, who one time it into the back of the net. And that's 2 for 2 for Nelson, and he has repaid Jerome Waite's fate to have him as the starting frontman. 1-1, and the game was now getting spicy. Both teams were throwing jabs at each other, and Tivoli seemed that we were having better the chances. Nelson himself should have a second thanks to Fuller taking the ball here and coming down on the retreating back line before he was slipped in on the left hand channel and just had White to beat. But White did well to keep himself big and use his head to keep that one out of safety. One of these was a glorious ball that was played in behind for Lennox Russell, who managed to sit down Harton and his defender before he tried to place it in the back of the net. But unfortunately for him, Watson got back in time. It was mostly Tivoli, but Arnett was hanging in there, before eventually the whistle was blown for the half and it ended 1-1. Second half though, it was still the same brisk tempo and Tivoli still started stronger. Again, a nice ball was planted over to Fuller, who took it down so neatly, who played a good ball to Nelson, who laid it off to Dunn, and on the run with the outside his right foot, only managed to hit the post. It looked like shades of what Tivoli was able to do last season, and we wish more of this, please. But Tivoli was not taking their chances, as you could say, and that would all give Arnett a chance. They got one big one here when a direct ball landed to the foot of Jaheim Thomas, and with a 3-2, he decided to take the shot from far out, and Harton matches him well. But he will be all at sea for the go-ahead goal. The ball again found Harbour on his left-hand side, and you know he has a trademark to cut in on his right, and he placed one of those curlers, but instead of reaching into the midriff of Harton, it somehow eluded him and went to the back of the net. 2-1, and it came at a very disappointing way for Jerome Waite and Tivoli. Well, Harbour and Arnett would not care as they enjoy taking the lead. But you believe from how Tivoli has been playing the entire game that they would eventually find a way back. Well, that's until they kind of lost some heads and got into some rough tackles, including this one. That's a direct card to Kevin Wilson. Down to 10 men, they couldn't really muster anything going forward, and Arnett were basically quite fine just keeping their 2-1 lead. And that's how they basically ended at 2-1 and Arnett with the 3 points. So a good game overall, but how was it in terms of numbers? Alright, the Junglers eventually had 12 total shots, but they were outshot by 1, as Tivoli had 13. Arnett managed only 3 of those on target, and Tivoli had 7 on target. 7 corners apiece, 1 yellow card to Arnett, 3 to Tivoli, and of course the 1 red card in that second half. So yeah, Tivoli should really feel away that they came away without nothing in this West Kingston derby. I felt that they had a good moment in the game and they simply just had to take their chances. While I also felt that Arnett played well, but they should also feel that they were a bit lucky in how they got the winner. But all that matters is the 3 points on the board, and that's what they have. So once again, it finishes Arnett 2, Tivoli Guns 1. From there, we moved to Sabina Park on the Sunday night for a game that's not exactly a derby, but you could say that newfound rivalry. Rudolph Smith's Cavalier was playing host to Butler and Hyde's Vere Phoenix United. In terms of the lineup, Cavalier saw their dangerous front three all returning. The likes of Calvin Stein and Atkinson. Of course, Calvary Harbour remained there, but it was interesting to see the likes of Allen and Watson partner in that midfield. As for Vere, the usual midfield partnership now is Matthew Willing along with Kai Butler. Daniel Dale is given a chance in the team along with Alex Gale on the opposite wing. And I was surprised that there was no space in the attack for Josiah Daniel. Now we know Cavalier have a tendency to start quickly, but no one expected to start this fast. Less than a minute on the board, a simple ball from the right back side from Adrian Reed floated over the back line. Captain Damian Thomas shouldn't have engaged and lost out to Atkinson, who was buried on goal, and from there he made no mistake to compose himself and start it down to the left hand corner. Big goal for Cavalier, and he came very early. But credit must be given to Hyde's men. I felt that they, shoot that off very quickly and got into their passing groove. They came back swift and fast at Cavalier on the other end and played some pretty good football. It didn't exactly materialize in any clear-cut chances, but it definitely caused some trouble. But Cavalier was still holding their own. They seemed they were more on the pressing foot with their front four to try to win the ball high and early to spark a counter, and was definitely tasking the Vere men to try to play through those lines. But Vere was still causing their own trouble with vertical balls from the wings, and you see they were missing Daniel in that box to finish them off. So much so that he came on in the 40th minute to right those wrongs. But it didn't make much of a difference on the other end. Watson found himself in acres of space, and with the time awarded him, he slotted in a beautiful ball to Calvin on the right hand side, who is in again, and this time with an acute angle, he steadied himself before powering a powerful shot over at the air and into the goal. Another big goal for Calvin, and he came at the right time, right before the first half break. Over the second half though, Vere again, I felt, came out with the right attitude and played some good football. And again, they were trying to cause some trouble with vertical crosses from the wings that almost saw they get it one back quickly, but thanks to Bartlett, he able to get this one out of safety. So that was signal to Cavalier that they have not wrapped this game up just yet, and they will probably need a third. If it wasn't for this great save by Adair against Atkinson, they would have gotten it. But Cavalier have a particular issue I've been noticing this so far this season, where sometime in that second half, I won't say they go missing, but this usual urgency they would normally have as if they were in the first wasn't there, and from that basis, Vere basically dominated possession. I was no more looking like the likely team to score next. To Cavalier's credit, they weren't exactly opening up like a can of sardines, so you should expect them to be very disappointed when they eventually let in that one goal. It came from a right-sided corner that was floated into the box, and it should have been Barkley's ball all day long, but for some reason he flapped at it and it fell kindly to Wooling, who was able to tuck it home for Vere a lifeline. The defenders and Barkley were complaining that there was a foul. If you look at the replay, Barkley just seemed to be much stronger in that one. Vere upped the tempo a bit after that to try to get the equalizer, while Cavalier was trying the best to spring counters when the back line was stretched. But nothing came out at either side, and eventually Speed got the desired 3 points that he wanted. So it was a good game overall, especially in the first half. How was it in terms of stats? Alright, so they were pretty even on total shots. Cavalier had 7, while Vere had 7. But Cavalier had 5 shots on target compared to 3 from Vere. 9 corners went to Cavalier, 4 to Vere, 1 yellow card to Cavalier, and 5 yellow cards to Vere, as they got a bit physical and chippy, especially in that second half. So yeah, enjoyable game. I felt I just wanted more from Cavalier in that second half, at a point that Ruler Speed himself acknowledged, as they should have wrapped this game up much earlier. Also, there might be a chink in their armor. It seems that they do have issues defending aerial balls in the box, and that might be something other teams can look into. While Vere Phoenix United, Butler said that they felt that they had the better the chances. I'm not exactly sure I agree with him there, but I could say this is one of the best they've looked so far this season. Anyway, it finishes Cavalier 2, Vere Phoenix United 1. For Sabina Park, we head all the way to Jocks Hall as Mount Pleasant was hosting the Stars of the East, Harbour View. In terms of the lineup for Mount Pleasant, Kevin Shaw would partner Aglin in that midfield. There were no space for Ferreira. Devante Kelvin, Daniel Green, and Nicholas Nelson will lead the iron as Edwards misses out. As for Harbour View, Andre Fagan gets another chance to lead the line up front, and Furr keep his spot in goal instead of Palmer. Now, if you thought that Atkinson goal in the last game was fast, Bailey did one even faster. As basically as the game kicked off, he found a way to get one on the board and give Mount Pleasant the early lead to settle their nerves. and with that nerve settled, they played some good football going forward. Even though the pitch wasn't at its best, Mount Pleasant did well to possess the ball and create some good chances. Devontae Campbell was also a person that Harbour had trouble containing, so much so that he ended up drawing a penalty here, but he was unable to convert off his own penalty and missed giving Mount Pleasant the second in the game. Harbour themselves did try to mount some challenges on the other side, but they never managed to draw the keeper into any major saves. So the first half basically ended there at 1-0. Second half though, Campbell again caused some trouble, he drew the foul, and from the resulting free kick, Daniel Grill looked like he was looking for somebody at the back post, but it sneaked all the way in and into the net and gave Mount Pleasant another goal. 2-0, and it was basically looking a bit easy. So much so that basically almost in a blink of an eye, they went up the field again, and this time Nicholas Nelson gets his one off the game, and it was basically all over for Harbour. 3-0, and basically Mount Pleasant can take their foot off the gas at this point, which they did, and this is where Harbour finally get a good foothold in the game finally, and they pressured a bit for trying to get a consolation. But they had to wait all the way in the 95th minute as Chung finally got one in the dying moments after a penalty to give Harbour a consolation, and the game after end there 3-1. So it was a bit easy for Mount Pleasant, but how was it in terms of numbers? Well, they dominated total shots, of course. They had 18 total shots compared to 6 by Harbour. 5 of them were on target for Mount Pleasant and 0 was on target for Harbour. 4 corners for Mount Pleasant, 0 for Harbour. 1 yellow card for Mount Pleasant and 3 for Harbour. So another dominant display at home again by Mount Pleasant, and luckily for them, they have finally found the goals to match that display. So Topper should be pleased with that one. As for Harbour, again, they are a bit too litless in attack, and I don't know, I guess they have to wait to January to definitely solve that problem. But anyway, once again, it finishes Mount Pleasant 3, Harbour 1. We remain on the north coast, this time this very west of it, as we go to Montego Bay as they hosted Dunbeholden. It wasn't the most shake-up in the starting lineup for Zapata, as most of his usual players were in there, including Chanel Thomas, Brian Brown, and Owen Gunn. As for Dunbeholden, they also are in good form, so they didn't see much changes from their last game, except that Roger Smith was in the team, as Leo Campbell could not play, of course, due to being on loan. Now, with so much attackers on the field, of course, Montego Bay would want an early goal, and they tried their best to get one. From kickoff, they were all domination from the host team, and if it wasn't for some great goalkeeping by Romain Hamilton in the Dunbeholden net, they'd have been down 1 or 2. They were playing some really good football, and they were just coming close, but just couldn't get it past the line. But they were given a sucker punch. Dunbeholden for a set piece saw the ball float into the box. It landed kindly to Roger Smith, who was able to put it into the back of the net and give Dunbeholden an unlikely lead. It was a came across runner played somewhat, but Dunbeholden would not care. Mobe stepped up the tempo after that and was coming in waves of attack at Dunbeholden goal, but again Romain Hamilton and some wayward finishing would save the Dunbeholden skin. But just when they thought they were going to escape into the tunnel with that 1-goal lead, a penalty was given. Of course, it will be the captain Owen Gunn who stood up and take it and give Mobe an equalizer leading into the half. Straight from kickoff for the next half, Mobe came in waves again to try to get the go-ahead goal. I had to come for the most unlikely source. From the corner place in, Chiminam rose highest and nodded into the back of the net. Powerful header from the Trinidadian, and he gave Mobe the deserved 2-1 lead. They had numerous opportunities after that to stretch the lead and find the third or even fourth. Again, some good defensive play and keeping by Hamilton, keep Dunbeholden into the game as much as they can, and while they tried their best to go on the opposite side to get something, they couldn't find the equalizer in the end. So in the end, Mobe get the deserved win, but they probably wanted a bit easier than that, and they finished the game off with 2-1. So this is a quick look at the numbers to show just how much Montego Bay dominated at home. Mobe has 17 total shots compared to 7 by Dunbeholden. Mobe managed 8 on target, while Dunbeholden only managed 2 on target, and of course he scored from one of those. 9 corners for Mobe, and one eventually was pivotal to give them the win, and 0 corners for Dunbeholden. Only 1 yellow card in the entire game, and it went to Dunbeholden. So yeah, I stated in the preview game that it's not Dunbeholden's style to sit back and defend for 90 minutes. They didn't do that here and probably felt a bit lucky that they took the lead. They will probably feel it as a bit shame they couldn't hang on and at least get a point out of that one. While Mobe is the same song and dance we have seen when they play here at Catching All. Anyway, they did just enough as Montego Bay won this one 2-1. So with that win, Montego Bay keep pace at the top of the table by league leaders Portmore United, who had to scrap by to get past Humberline in Clarendon. In terms of lineup for the host team, it's a rare look at Javier Duncan in the team. Karen Bryan was in as well, but there was no Claire Clark. As for Portmore United, their team is now becoming a bit stable now. Ramon Howell come into the midfield to part of Guthrie as Brown was taken out, and Rashawn Small gets that rare chance into the starting lineup. Now, if you remember from the previous show, I tasked Molynes to come up with a bit more positivity at home, so I have to give them credit for the opening 15 minutes of this game. They went toe-to-toe with the league leaders as both teams traded good shots at each other. Both of them had decent amount of corners to try to carve up something, and nothing much was coming out of it. Then towards the end of the half, the game went into a bit of a lull as both teams were hoping to make no mistakes headed into the half. But Portmore stepped up the tempo straight out from the second half, and I felt they were playing much better. But I have to give credit again to Duke's men. They didn't cower away from the league leaders and try to return fire any chance they get. But it was still honest even, and I felt this one was going to be one of those games that one goal would be enough. And of course it will be the league leaders who end up finding it. After some good build-up play again down the left-hand side by Portmore, the ball ended up found on the right-hand side to Rashawn Small, who ended up tucked away and gave Portmore a good 1-0 lead. Again, credit to Molynes. Straight after that, they came back roaring to try to get the equalizer and put Portmore under a bit of pressure, but they never ended up beating Russell. With their train more and more caution to the win, Portmore were trying their best to find up something in the opposite direction to get the second goal, and they didn't find that one either. The time eventually ran out and Portmore walked away with a 1-0 win. So a good win for Portmore. Just look at the stats. Molynes has 7 total shots compared to 11 by Portmore. Molynes didn't manage to have any shots on target though in the entire game, and that's a problem they have to work at, while Portmore managed to have 3 on target. 7 corners to Molynes, 14 to Portmore, 1 yellow card to Molynes and 3 to Portmore. Yeah, I have to give Molynes a bit more credit in this game. I felt that they were a bit more positive than I'm used to seeing Duke at home, apart from how they finished the second half against Arnett last week. But the fact that they didn't manage to get any real shot on target is a cause for concern. Anyway, once again it finished Molynes 0, Portmore United 1. Alright, so we'll move straight back to Sabina Park for the Battle of the New Boys as Racing was playing the host to Chapelton Maroons. This is already a big relegation 6-pointer, and Racing came with some changes in their starting lineup. Markevich Brown was nowhere to be seen in the team, and the impressive Siobhan Reid partners Ellis in midfield. While Chapelton makes some interesting moves of their own, all with the likes of Leon Williams and Javel Ellis up front, and Kima Doyle was given the keys to lead the line. So when the game kicked off, Racing seemed to want to mix up things a bit than their usual style of play, and they were going a bit more direct than we used to seeing them. It wasn't exactly being effective to carve out chances, and the first real shot on target came from the Maroon men. But Racing eventually carved up one beautiful chance for Molynes. A good corner was whipped in the 6-yard box and it evaded everybody, but Molynes couldn't have any strong enough foot to steer it onto the target. After that, it was the Deacon versus the Big Show. Deacon was having on himself one of the better games for Chapelton Maroons, and he was almost influential in everything they were doing going forward. Including right here when he had acres of space to burn on the counter, and he hit a good ball over into the box to find his captain Howe, who decided to take it one time on the bounce and he managed to go for the bar. Ronaldo Biggs on the opposite side of the field was doing his best to try to get himself a goal. 2 times he burned his fullback, and 2 times his rasping shot was off target and was no danger to the goal. But perhaps was probably the easiest chance of the game fell to Nishan Bennett. Again, Deacon with some good work here to try to lay off into Bennett's path into the box. He missed it, but he was lucky enough to see the ball ricochet back in his path, and he see that he caught it by surprise as he stretched and got the ball over the bar. It was a big chance for Chapelton, and he felt like they were going to rule that miss. The second half came about now, and Racing I felt played more of the usual style here and was playing some good football on the ground. But it was no intricate passing scheme that led to their opening goal, and nothing shot from outside the box is managed to ricochet into the box and find a Molynes who was composed enough to carry the ball around the keeper and was managed to beat the 2 defenders on the line. An absolutely lucky play for Racing, but simply put, if you don't shoot, you don't score or get lucky bounces. So 1-0 to Racing, and they probably felt it was justified. But Chapelton was doing their best to try to get the equalizer as quick as possible, and they were kind of throwing caution to the wind. This led to a nice back and forth between both teams as both teams were trying to find the next goal in the game. The last real great chance in the game actually fell to Racing, but again they couldn't finish it off. But they did enough to get away with a crucial win over their rivals and get a 1-0 win. Alright, so how was the game in terms of the numbers? Racing had 10 total shots in that game compared to 13 by Chapelton, which again I felt played some decent football, but those shots were just wayward. 6 of them was on target for Racing, 4 were on target for Chapelton, 6 corners for Racing, 2 to Chapelton, 4 yellow cards in the game for Racing, while 3 was there for Chapelton and no red cards. So massive, absolutely massive win for Racing here, their second win of the season, but again they failed to score more than 1 goal in the game, and that's something they have to work on. But they don't care about that right now, 3 points does not matter. While Chapelton, another game Bigger Thompson team played some fairly good football, and again another game they have nothing to show for it. Anyway, it ended Racing 1, Chapelton 0. Alright, and to our final game, we're heading back to Anthony Spalding Complex. It's what some people consider the West St. Andrew Derby, as Molynes United was hosting Waterhouse. One big change for Molynes is that there was a change in goalkeepers, as Carlos Robinson was out for the Solution, and Jason Wright was back in the team to partner Marlon Pennycook. Waterhouse themselves made some interesting changes, especially up front. Marcel Gale could not resist the temptation and played Bygrave with Javier Bryan up front, but it was also the first start of the season for Andre Fletcher. Now, knowing that they need a win, of course, I felt when the game started, Molynes started very positively. They tried to take the fight to Waterhouse and tried to assert and get an early goal. Waterhouse took some time to settle, but eventually they were carving up the better chances though. One here on Bygrave was in, but he was denied by the keeper, while Bryan himself was stopped at an acute angle by the Molynes keeper again. Molynes' new keeper was definitely keeping them in the game, but eventually the pressure would break and Waterhouse got the lead thanks to Andre Fletcher. But credit to Molynes, they didn't crumble, they took the fight back to Waterhouse right after, and they eventually got their equalizer from Jeremy Nelson in the 53rd minute. I felt the same pattern extended into the second half. Molynes was still playing positive football, but again Waterhouse got them out on a break. Fletcher got the second in the 55th minute. Molynes still think they were in this game, and of course with them pushing to get the equalizer, there was enough space in the back line, one where Hampton came on from the Waterhouse bench to take full advantage of and wrapped up the 3 points for Waterhouse in the 85th minute. It was a valiant effort by Molynes, but once again they went down 3-1. Alright, let's look at the numbers real quick for this one. Just to show that Molynes did try to go toe-to-toe with Waterhouse, they matched them with 11 total shots to Waterhouse 11 total shots. Molynes only managed 2 of those on target though, compared to 7 on target for Waterhouse. 4 corners for Molynes, 3 for Waterhouse, 3 yellow cards for Molynes and 3 for Waterhouse. No red cards in this one. So yeah, disappointing in the end, you could say for Molynes they lost, but you could say that they were fighting to the very end. I was hoping to get more out of the game. While Waterhouse, they kept their composure and picked off Molynes at the right time. So once again, it finished Molynes 1, Waterhouse 3. Alright, so all that leaves us is now this is with the final table before the international break. So Portmore remains as the leaders with 19 points from 9 games. Montego Bay is close behind in second though with 17 points. Waterhouse is sneakily in third with 17 points as well. And Mount Pleasant and Cavalier run out the top 5. While in the bottom 3, Racing is a big win to swap place with Tivoli to go into 12th. Tivoli is now officially in the relegation zone with 6 points in 13th. And Molynes, despite a better display here, still remain on the basement of the table with 4 points. But alright guys, that's all we'll do it here at Jamaica Fan and this review show. Thank you for watching, and if you're new here, please like, subscribe and share as we look to keep you up to date on all things in the JPL leading up to the final in May. Otherwise, with great JPL content, you're already at the right place, Jamaica Fan. YouTube, big up yourself.